Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's the guy who's ready to bring you all the highlights and not just the ones that smell like Bobcat Pee. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live Big Brother coverage. First Sunday night of the Big Brother season, and we got a fun show planned for you tonight because I am going to be joined by Mr. Taran Armstrong to talk about everything that's going on. A man who's already been talking for 10,000 hours already about Big Brother 21. Taran, welcome.
You know, I'm just incredibly relieved right now that you didn't change the music.
Yes.
I don't know about the outro music yet, but hopefully everything's going to stay the same because my whole core has been shaken, Rob.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's, Taran talked about it. New music at the end of Big Brother. I know Taran doesn't like change, and I think a lot of people probably won't like this.
The power of veto, and will it be used to save either Cliff or Catherine from eviction? Find out Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Big Brother.
What? Yeah, I don't know. Did they get flagged on YouTube also like we did on Summer Stein when we were using that music? Because then Corey B can record a acapella version for them that might be able to be, they could use that instead because that would be a lot better. Listen, have you heard this, Taran? I can't believe I didn't get okay. So that's what's going on there. All right. So
we need to send it to him, Rob.
Yes, we'll send it in. So
I mean, look, I'm all about change. The music has certainly changed over the years, but I gotta say, like the outro music was, I feel like, their best work, in my opinion, and I'm gonna miss it.
I wonder if the license expired or anything like that. Like I that was not music that was composed for Big Brother, from what I understand from finding it on YouTube. Okay, all right, so. There you go. All right, so we have a really fun surprise for you tonight because what we're gonna do is that Taran and I are gonna recap the episode. We'll get the latest from the live feeds because the ball has moved from even this morning when Taran and Kirsten had a great live feed update, and then we're going to take your phone calls later on in this hour. So just to give you the order, we're gonna talk about the episode. We're going to talk about everything we learned here tonight. Then we're going to get all the updates of just sort of, Taran will give you the full day tomorrow morning on the live feed update plus LFC Roundtable. So we'll just sort of get the highlights and anything newsworthy from today. A couple of big notes to talk about. And then we're going to take your phone calls. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to put the number up on the screen. Okay, and you can go ahead and call in to our line, and then I will go ahead and bring you onto the show, and let's do a couple of calls, and as long as we're having fun, we'll keep taking them, and then eventually, Taran's got to get back to the live feeds tonight. Okay, so a lot to do here tonight. Taran, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been an exciting week. Things have been very, very, very crazy.
Yeah.
So we've got plenty to look forward to.
Well, I want to compliment you on your outstanding work as usual on the morning updates. You've been doing a great job. Great work all week long with Amon and Puya and Kirsten. And be sure to check Taran out every morning live at 11 a.m. Eastern. 8 a.m. Pacific for all of that. And what's coming up on the LFC Roundtable tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. Well, first of all, the updates, it's detailed. You're going into everything that's going on during the day. The updates are where you can go to if you're just looking for like the overarching narrative of the week. If you want to get the recap of what's been happening during the week, you check out that on the roundtable. And then, of course, we're going to go into detail about each individual player and what they've been doing throughout the week. And we're going to rate their games one by one. It's very fun, and it's a blast, Rob.
Okay. All right. We've already got a bunch of people on hold for I'm going to take the number off the screen in a minute because we've already got like 8 people on hold that want to call in. So I'm going to take the number off the screen for a little while. while because I don't want to have like 80 people on hold by the time we get to it, because it's going to be like 30 minutes before we get to it. Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So you guys on hold, you guys hang out, and then we'll get to you in a little bit. All right. So we had our first big Sunday night show, and we got to see the Whacktivity competition. We found out who had the power. So a lot of stuff from the week before the live feeds kicked off, Taran, that we're not even at the point yet where the live feeds had started. So a couple of newsworthy items from tonight. What's the biggest in your mind?
Certainly the rectangular competition that we saw. We finally learned who has the power.
Yes. And we learned that it was Ovi, a lengthy competition here, the Whacktivity competition. And we spent a good 20 minutes of the show on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rob, it's very important that we learn all of the details about the different subtleties in the sense of various forms of urine.
Yeah, different forms of urine. Now, when we have one of the 20 cents that's out there, fresh vomit. Now, what do you are we simulating that, or that does a PA from Big Brother need to produce the props?
Yeah, are these like the Harry Potter jelly beans, or are they the real deal?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here. By the way, real animals, real skunks and raccoons running around in the backyard?
It kind of looked like it, but I feel like no. I feel like it's a lie.
Do you feel like this is one of those augmented realities where it's like, hey, look at me with a stormtrooper, and they weren't really in the backyard and we just superimposed them?
Were there ever actual shots of the players and live animals in the same shot, or were those shots just stuffed animals?
It seemed like that Cliff found the skunk at one point. That seemed like
editing can work magic.
That was the thing that happened, I thought. Okay.
I don't know.
So we spent a long time on the competition. It really went back and forth a couple of different ways. Bella was so confident in the diary room, Taran, that she told us exactly what each thing was. I was blown away when she had nothing right, and I don't even know if she might have only got one right by the end.
Yeah, she did very poorly. I was convinced that she was going to win. She even had the good music behind her. So I was like, clearly Bella has got this one. But no, she did very poorly.
I know what this is because my mom took me here, and I know exactly what that is. I'll never forget what that smells. And then we thought Cliff had a shot at this thing, and I think that Cliff was probably the prohibitive favorite that people thought had this power.
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly he's one of the people who I would trust the most to be able to keep it to himself, at the very least, in terms of just he knows the game and he would know to keep it secret. And, so he was doing well. He clearly has a whole host of life experiences. He knows different kinds of urine, like the back of his hand. But unfortunately, I think it was the fish one that he couldn't get. I can't remember.
Yeah, and this does speak to something that Eric was talking about on Summer of Stein this week, which if you haven't checked that out, that went up on Friday. Do the Big Brother producers know what happens at a camp? Because that somehow this was the competition that they came up with to simulate the experience of being at a camp.
Yeah, unfortunately I have no personal experiences at camps, like summer campy kind of things like what we're doing here. I do have experience actual camping, and I can say that you do occasionally run into things like urine and skunks and such. So I feel like it's pretty accurate.
Okay. All right, so Ovi ends up being the winner. Taran, this was a huge episode for Ovi. I was not expecting Ovi to, I think, we don't get a confessional count on Big Brother, but I thought he really dominated the airtime tonight.
I feel like he's a compelling character to watch. I mean, there's a reason we were all drawn to him preseason. It's that he is able to tell a story really well. He knows the game really well too, so he's able to talk about it in a unique way, especially in comparison to the rest of the cast. And he's just a lot of fun, and he's quirky, and he's easy to make into like these funny scenes, especially the one where he's like, "I just made the first alliance in Big Brother 21." It's like, oh, Ovi.
He had a lot in the diary room, and he had a lot of moments in the house also. And I was getting a Ian Terry early on in the season vibe from him. Did you feel that at all?
I felt it. I felt a little more Steve Moses than Ian Terry. You know, Ian was kind of like run around the house
the moment
naked
where,
kind of thing.
Yeah, Steve told Davon, "I love you," when she left the room.
Exactly. It was a little more "I love you" than, crazy running around.
I mean, Ovi had like 4 or 5 moments in this episode that were really just off the wall, and not necessarily intentionally off the wall. There was the moment where the first time I think we saw him tonight, he was in the he was in the room when Christie came in and she wanted to get dressed.
Come on, you're a sweet person.
You just let me know what you need from me this week, and I'm at your call and beckoning.
Aw, thanks. I don't need anything. What I need is to figure out a system on where I'm gonna get dressed. I guess I'll...
Hey, let me.
No. I'm gonna go in the girls' room and...
You want to get under my, bed?
What? What? How would somebody get dressed under a bed, Taran?
It has something to do with call and beckoning, I imagine. And it's he's just stumbling over some words here. It's a little bit like his version of I drive truck.
Yeah.
Where I think that what he's trying to say.
I feel like that's a euphemism.
Okay.
I drive truck.
I drive truck. I believe in dinosaurs building pyramids. Everything's cool.
Yeah. I gotta work on my Sam. Let me listen to Sam, and then I can search.
So I walk in the yard, and all I see are these 3 Whacktivity signs: chaos, panic, and nightmare. None of these even sound good.
I walk in the yard, and I see these signs, and I'm like, what? I don't want any of these. I drive truck. Yeah.
So then I offer Kemi a changing session under my bed.
I'm like, what? Under my bed? What? That smells like a bobcat. All right. Speaking of bobcat. All right. Taran, so we got the formation of we saw the 6 on Wednesday night. It's been forever since we had an episode. So much has changed in the world of Big Brother, but we now got we went from 6 to 8 with this big alliance, and we ultimately got a name for this alliance, and they are Grateful with an 8.
Yes, they went from Hateful 8
don't forget the original name, Taran.
The what?
The Ocho.
Yeah. The Ocho.
I forgot about Ocho. Yeah.
The Ocho. Yeah.
Very original. But yeah, as we get down to, I think was it Christie who said like, oh, what about the Grateful?
The Grateful 8.
Or just Grateful?
Yeah, and then Grateful with an 8.
And then Nick was like, spelled with an 8. It's brilliant. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Nobody could have ever thought of this before.
Yes, I mean, Nick started twerking. He was so excited about that.
Is that how you celebrate, Rob?
Yes,
when you come up with names for podcasts?
If I come up with a pun that's like really good, I don't need to get up and do it now, but yeah, that's basically.
Well, it needs to be genuine. You need to have actually come up with something.
Yeah, that's what I do. So congratulations to Grateful for coming up with the name. We have the addition of Tommy and Annalise into the alliance. And so now, again, this big night for Ovi. A lot of things about Ovi. So we have this conversation that ends up happening where in the bedroom there is some talk where it's Tommy and Nick and Jack later on, and they're talking about the 8. And unfortunately, they talk too loud. And Ovi is, we've seen this a couple of times in different Big Brother seasons, but he's able to, he's hearing everything. He's pretending he's asleep. And so now Ovi is the person that knows about the 8. But everything that happens to Ovi after this is just a combination of bad luck and also not great control of this information.
Yeah, what you should do when you find out that people are either in an alliance or looking to form an alliance is go to the people that are doing that and don't tell them that you know what they're doing, but just be like, hey, I would love to work with you guys. Try and build relationships with them because you know that they're forming something and you just want to be included in it. Now, what Ovi did was maybe not the worst thing. He went to somebody that he felt he could trust, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for him, he was wrong about that. But then the worst thing he did was go to the HOH.
Mm-hmm.
Ovi, as a fan of the show, should know that without fail, the first HOH is always included in the plans for the first alliance.
That's a good
so
point.
He should have known that this was bad news.
Yeah. And then it only got worse later on in the episode when he wanted to create his own alliance of 5 with everybody else who was already in the 8.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was also really bad, where he was the only person who was not in the alliance that he was trying to form.
Now, this was Shades of Ian Terry, where they basically just created an extra alliance with Ovi.
Yeah.
But hey, that one turned out to be something great.
Yeah, that one.
This one, I don't know.
Yeah. We got a lot from Kat tonight also, Taran, and we got to see a lot of Kat with the Dodo music.
And also some trippy music.
Trippy music, yeah. Catherine had a different experience while she was out there on the backyard competing in the competition. She had an unusual reaction to Bobcat P.
I feel like I'm high off of manure.
Oh, manure.
And I don't know, Bobcat P.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, I don't know. Was she recommending it?
I don't know, Rob. I mean, have you ever heard it described, being high off of manure and Bobcat Pee as like the Kardashians, like all the time? It's like this.
She talks like a Kardashian after smelling manure and Bobcat Pee.
Also, she was talking like a Kardashian, and then she was like, and that's how Kardashians talk. And I was like, oh, I thought that was just her speaking.
Yeah, we don't know her.
That different.
Yeah, we don't know her well enough to know exactly that she's doing an impression of Kardashians. That was different. So yeah. But we got to see Christie come to this decision that we ultimately got to nominate Cliff and Catherine for the block this week. How do you think HOH Christie did with these nominations in terms of breaking the news to Catherine and to Cliff?
I wasn't the biggest fan of this. Obviously, you want to be as vague as you can. And so I don't mind it too much here. But obviously, Kat saw through it, right? So when she did it to Cliff, it was like, okay, I understand. And he believed that he was the pawn because he was. Exactly. And if Kat can see through it, granted, Kat would probably see through even the truth and think that you were still trying to backstab her. But still, that means she's the wrong choice to put up as a pawn because, or even as a target, and to pretend that she's a pawn. In that case, you should just be straight up front with her. But yeah, so I don't love the fact that she did not succeed in making Kat feel comfortable. That was not the best.
No. And Kat was, she told her, okay, brace yourself, and it could be you. And Kat said later on she's going to backdoor Christie. That's she's calling her shot on that one. Cliff was also brought into the loop. How do you think that Cliff handled this, Taran? That he basically had a moment like going back to Big Brother 17 of, Johnny Mac, we want you to go on the block.
No.
That was in the diary room. Cliff is going to ultimately say yes.
Can we use that Johnny Mac clip every time a Love Island commercial comes on and they use Johnny Mac's likeness to advertise Love Island?
Are you ready for Love Island?
No.
Do you like abs?
No.
Are you ready to see people sleep in the same bed?
No.
Yeah, so Cliff, it's a tough spot, and it's something that I think every fan of the show has wondered what you would do if you were in that position and somebody tells you, look, I want to put you up as a pawn. Do you fight? Do you accept it? Like, how do you go about this? I feel like given his position in the game and given his position in the cast, he did it about as well as he could. He was basically like, look, do I want to be there? Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
Do I understand? Will I hold a grudge? I won't hold a grudge, and I do understand. And I think that that's the best that he can do because he doesn't really have the clout in the house to be like, no, don't you dare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just got to go along with it and then just hope the wheels don't come off. That's basically the situation that he's in, and he's just got to keep his fingers crossed and hope that nobody ends up coming up with a reason. Like Steve last season was Steve wasn't bad, right? I mean, it wasn't like that. Steve had like a ton of mistakes that ended up being made that ultimately ended up in him being the first person to go home.
Yeah, I mean, Steve was kind of the initial pawn as well, and he played it pretty well. Also, the thing that screwed Steve was that was a couple of things. One was that Tyler turned out to be much more than he appeared, and Tyler decided that he wanted to. He bonded with Sam essentially, and decided he wanted to keep Sam. And then Sam's power was an additional motive for Tyler to keep her in the game. And then Tyler was able to do his magic with Caitlyn. But Steve should have been safe that week. I think Steve played about as well as he could have, and I think Cliff is as well. So that doesn't speak the best to Cliff's chances here, but he's doing what he can.
It's almost like you should prepare to be on the block that first week if you're in that spot, and then sort of just like hold on for dear life that they end up putting somebody up next to you that's going to ultimately remain a bigger target for the rest of the week.
Yes, it's tricky.
It's tough. It's a high wire act for sure.
As tricky as sticking your head in a bucket full of urine.
Yeah, but then you hope that you end up walking away from it, surviving, and then ending up having some goodwill built up with the house moving forward.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about some other events from the. Did you have something? Oh,
no.
Okay. So let's talk about the weirdness that ended up coming up where Kemi wants to talk to Christie tonight, and that ends up turning into something that Christie and Jack can't believe. How dare Kemi talk to them about Ovi should go on the block?
This was very strange. It doesn't really add up in the way that they portrayed it. Without going into spoilers, I think that what we saw earlier in the episode with Kemi talking about Jack and Jackson, I think that was also relayed to the people in power, including Jack and Jackson and Christie. And so they were already kind of sour on Kemi. And so being sour on Kemi and then her coming up and having the audacity to talk to them, that was more along the lines of what happened, I think, rather than that being the thing that actually set them off.
They were so mad. They were so indignant about the whole thing. Like, what?
Yes.
How you come to the HOH and you suggest a person and don't ask like, oh hey, what do you think of this person? Are you crazy? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is just a little bit of taste of what's happening in this very cliquey season of Big Brother so far.
Ovi's all over the place. What are you? Is like how could you? How could you do this? So and if she's talking about him, she must be talking about other people too.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. And the fact that we're talking about people, I mean, that's totally fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So we see some of Christie and Jack here on this Sunday night. Let me see if there's anything else from tonight I want to make sure that we get to before we start to take some questions and then get into talking about the live feeds. We found out that Cliff, as a young man, he had a pet
But
skunk.
believe it or not, I had a pet skunk as a kid. My brother and I named him Oreo.
Oreo?
Oreo. Yeah, I heard Oreo.
Yeah. Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. There you go. All right. So I'm sure we'll come back to any other headlines from the night. Let's take some questions, then we'll talk about the live feeds. Let's go to our good friend, Eric Stein. Says, at Rob Sister and I broke the post-nominations outro music. Yeah.
What have you done, Eric?
Parodying
At what
it
cost?
on Summer of Stein. Get rid of it. Teach those guys. All right. Wouldn't it have been logical to target someone in your whack group to give you better odds at winning a power? That's from BB Superfan. Taran, is that getting too cute?
Not necessarily. In particular, I do feel like it was a bit risky here for Christie to nominate 2 people that just competed for power. There are only 5 people that competed. So the odds are actually pretty decent that one of the 2 people you just nominated has this power and is going to screw with your nominations, especially coming from somebody who says that she wants to cause the least amount of waves. Surely in a house of 15 people, you can find 2 people that didn't just compete for a huge power.
Yeah. Let's talk about the power itself, which we found out that OV has. So it's the nightmare power, where that you can make somebody else's HOH into a nightmare, where then the nominees go up, and then in the middle of the night, the HOH and the whole house will be woken up, and they'll have to make new nominations on the spot. Taran, do you like this power?
Of course not particularly. It's I mean, I don't mind the theatrics of it. I think that, you know, to watch this power play out, especially on the feeds, would be interesting. To have, you know, nominations come in and then all of a sudden people wake up and feeds come back and there are new nominations. They had to do it on the spot. That's kind of interesting, especially in the earlier weeks where I feel like it's not going to interfere as much with the main game plan. I don't love that it lasts for 6 weeks. This is, unless you get very unlucky, essentially 6 weeks of immunity. So I don't love that, but you know, it's not the worst thing they've come up with.
Yeah. It's no, I wouldn't say immunity is the right word, because
unless you get very unlucky, Rob.
Yes. You know that because they can only be used after the nominations, not after a veto. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So interesting power. But now, are we going to get like 2 more powers that are similarly powerful?
I would imagine so. I mean, I would say that the initial power that they gave in Big Brother 20 was probably one of the most impactful. So perhaps it'll be slightly less powerful, but I don't know. It really depends.
Okay. All right. Let's take another question. This is from Justin. Was it right of Ovi to be proactive in forming a new alliance? Should he just chill? Is the goof edit he's getting warranted? Taran, do you think that how should we be viewing Ovi, the TV character?
You know, it's hard to say because this is the portion of the feeds that we did not get to see. So it's hard to know for sure whether or not it's warranted. Based on what I've seen on the feeds, Ovi's not that awkward. I mean, he's not like the smoothest, you know, operator, but he's not like dodo music all the time kinds of awkward, but he might have been worse in the first week. So who knows?
But
he's
very
certainly
likable,
treated.
I would say. Yes,
he's certainly treated as an outcast, and you know, it's been all over the place that people feel that he's being bullied to a degree in the house as well, based on being outcast as he is. So you know, it's hard to say if the edit is correct. It does seem like It seemed to me like it was reaching a couple times. Like change under my bed, that was warranted. But some of the other moments I did feel like were, was that really that awkward?
Mhm.
Like in the first episode when he's like, "Hey, and you guys can just hold my weights for me." Like that was kind of a funny joke. That wasn't like super
This
awkward.
reminds me of another moment. This wasn't Ovi necessarily. This was Ovi when it comes to Annalise, comes to Sis and wants to tell her, "Hey, I heard some of the guys talking about stuff late at night."
I was just hearing them talk and things like that. Things help her sleep and stuff like that, but they're talking a lot.
Yeah.
About scary stuff?
Like game stuff.
No, not about scary stuff. No. That was,
Did you see a ghost?
I know Sis is young, but it's like I heard a couple of the guys talking, and maybe she's playing dumb because she's in the 8. But I heard a couple of guys, and they were talking at night, late night about like scary, like scary stuff.
Scary? Like were they talking about who their crushes were, and I wasn't one of them? What are you saying, Ovi?
All right, let me tell you a real scary story.
You don't know that the Big Brother house is haunted?
Yeah. All right. So let's do another question or two, and then let's get the live feed update. Okay. This is from Jalen. What happened to the days when the house guests would keep their eyes open and their lips zipped the way Danielle Reyes taught us? Yeah. Eyes open, mouth closed, can't lose.
Yeah. I think that's still the case. I think there are people in this house that are doing that. Just Ovi isn't particularly one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then let's this next question is getting into the spoiler. So let's go ahead and let's do that up. Okay. We'll get into the live feed update, and then we're gonna take phone calls from the listeners here tonight. Very excited about that. Oh, actually, this one's okay. John Barber says, which Whacktivity would you choose, Taran? I believe they were what? Chaos, Nightmare, or Panic?
I probably would have gone with Nightmare. Chaos would have been my second pick. Or maybe I would have gone with Chaos.
I think I would have done Chaos and Panic before Nightmare.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Nightmare just sounded cool to me. But then thinking about it, I do love Chaos. So
yeah, Chaos is the best. Panic is, and Nightmare is. I want no part of Nightmare.
Panic just sounds like it's not as big as Chaos or Nightmare. Panic sounds just like a lesser one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not looking for excitement from. I want I don't want to be in a Nightmare. Okay. All right. Let's start to set things up. If you're going to bounce out here, don't want any of the live feeds, come on back on Tuesday night. We've got a real great show. Angie Rockstar is going to be with us on Tuesday night. Don't forget, it's a Tuesday, Wednesday week, 4th of July on Thursday. So we're going to have the veto ceremony on Tuesday night, and then we will have our live eviction on Wednesday night. So you've got us and Big Brother 3 out of the 4 nights in a row here this week. So a busy week of Big Brother. Let's go ahead and talk about another busy day on the live feeds.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff going on in the house, Taran.
It's scary. Scary stuff.
Scary stuff.
Oh, man.
Smells bad. Okay. All right. Taran. All right. Busy day because today, finally, we had our Power of Veto ceremony. Can you give us? I know you have the live feed update every single day. If people are just have been not keeping up with the live feeds, can you give us the real like the 30-second minute version of the week to get up to this point?
Yes. So Christie nominated Kat and Cliff, with Kat as the target here initially, but as they sort of hinted to in the episode, Jack and Jackson in particular were pretty anti-Kemi. They heard that she was talking about them. I think they heard that from Bella. And so they started to push for a Kemi backdoor. And that became the plan for the 8. And so that was going along pretty nicely for a little while until Jackson started to get a little bit jealous of Jack's relationship with Christie. He felt like they were really close. Jackson is starting to have a little bit of a thing with Kat, and Jack told Christie about it. He wasn't happy about that. So he started talking to Christie saying like, hey, it seems like you and Jack are really close. And that started to get Christie all paranoid about, oh, people are associating me and Jack. I'm doing what Jack wants. I shouldn't be doing what Jack wants. So she started to doubt the plan of backdooring Kemi. And that spirals for a few days. It goes back and forth. It's total chaos and craziness.
Yes, chaos is the best. I'm loving Christie so far. I feel like that she's bringing me that big Caitlyn energy that I need in the house. So I really am enjoying what she's bringing to the table.
True chaos coming from the universe in the form of Christie. And she is going to really be all over the place here until she finally lands on, you know what? Screw Jack. I hate him, although I'm still in an alliance with him. I'm going to work with him till Final 8. But I hate him. He's a bully, and I'm not going to do what he wants. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I am going to not backdoor Kemi. And so she decided not to do the backdoor Kemi plan. Meanwhile, Sam won the veto, and Sam wants to use the veto on Cliff because everybody loves Cliff, and he wants to use the veto on Cliff because he loves Cliff. So when Christie approached Sam about not using the veto to not backdoor Kemi and stick with the plan to evict Kat, Sam was like, oh, but I really wanted to use the veto. And so he was offering...
He said it.
I mean, I don't know about that plan. I mean, I said that I told Cliff that I was going to use it, and I was talking to Nick about it too, and he was like, "Let's just stick to the plan. I don't know why we're not doing this." Yeah. And so he was like, "I don't know. What about Ovi? We could nominate Ovi, right? Nobody cares about Ovi." And she was like, oh, "Sam, you're a genius. I'll just nominate Ovi, and everything's gonna be fine. We'll all vote Ovi out." And so that's what she did. Sam used the veto. Ovi was backdoored, and this power is kaput. Another Big Brother twist in the toilet as totally flopped.
Okay, we're that set that it's going to be Ovi going home?
It does not look good. I can say that.
I feel like that I've been surprised to see so much that it's in this crazy house where so much has changed from day to day. I'm surprised that there's that kind of certainty already from everybody.
I mean, I'm with you. I was predicting that a Kemi flip would happen and that Kemi could stay. But when I look at Kemi versus Kat versus Ovi versus Kat, I don't like it nearly as much. And a large part of that is because Ovi doesn't have as many connections as Kemi did. Kemi had a good relationship with Bella, even though Bella's kind of the one that sold Kemi out. And with Bella kind of comes Nick. Nick kind of liked Kemi, and Nick has a lot of sway in the house. So there was a lot of room to maneuver there. Nick, however, really wants Ovi out. He doesn't want Ovi in the game. Sam doesn't want Ovi in the game. Everyone else is kind of starting to come around on Ovi. They don't mind him too much, but there are a lot of forces in the house that are just really going in the other direction.
But could Kat have a bad couple days?
Certainly. So one of the main things here is that Kat has kind of a thing, as we mentioned, with Jackson. So Jackson immediately told Ovi, "I'm sorry, I can't vote for you." He was under the impression they were still going to keep him, and that it was going to be a sympathy vote. But he was like, "I know you're going to stay, but I can't vote to keep you. I'm sorry." He then went to talk to Jack and Nick, and they were like, "Oh no, we're voting him out." And he's like, "Oh, and everything's fine." And so he can't get Jackson. Without Jackson, he can't really get Jack either. Without Jackson or Jack or Nick, that's like three of the bigger players here. Christie just put him up. Christie still really wants him out for now, at the very least. Tommy just doesn't want to rock the boat. All of these people in the 8 aren't really people that he can sway at the moment, at the very least. And then, of course, we have Holly and her relationship with Kat, which we have reason to believe is stronger because of an outside connection. It's really hard to see Holly ever flipping against Kat. And now we also have a women's alliance beginning to form, which obviously would favor keeping Kat over Ovi. So all of those forces are coming together, and it just really doesn't look good for Ovi. But I do think the one avenue of escape here is actually that women's alliance, because if word gets out that the women are trying to form something and that Kat would obviously be kind of a part of that, then we might get some of the guys starting to be like, well, maybe we should just take Kat out and nip that in the bud a little bit.
That's a real Sophie's choice for you, Twitter. Do you want Ovi or do you want women's alliance? You only get one. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want, Twitter? Pick one. What are you rooting for?
So yeah, I would say the chances aren't the greatest though.
Okay.
The other method here, of course, is now that we know Ovi has this power, he can try to use this as a bargaining chip by buddying up to a majority of people and saying, "Look, I will use this power to help you guys. All you need to do is keep me safe." But again, those people don't have a ton of incentive to keep him around, and he already has a reputation of kind of being, exactly, kind of being like somebody that would just run to the next person in power, and they wouldn't necessarily trust him to actually use it in their favor.
The other recent development that you talked about was the Women's Alliance. Can you just give us the short version of how that came to be?
So basically, Jessica has always kind of been like girl power, like that's what she's about. Yes. And so now that Kemi is not being backdoored, she's been hanging out more with Jess and Nicole and Bella. And so they were kind of like hanging out last night, really enjoying each other's company. And Jess kind of brought up this idea again of a women's alliance. And they were pretty much all on board. They were cautious about bringing in people like Kat or Bella because they weren't sure that they could trust them because they were too close to the guys. And I said this morning, that's really smart of them. They should not approach them. Today, they approached Kat and Bella. And then, of course, pretty quickly, Kat was like, I don't like that. We'll play along for now, but I'm not in a women's alliance. I like the guys too much. And Bella was like, yeah, I agree. So
we'll see.
That's basically how all women's alliances tend to go. Yep. There's usually one or two women that are like, I'm playing along for now, and then
Big Brother Canada 7. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the phone lines. Okay. We've got about 10 people on hold right now. No, but let me put the number up for another minute or two. Just if anybody else wants to jump in, and then I'm gonna put the number away. Okay. So all right, let's go with. We're going to hear from somebody, and I'm not going to be able to screen who they are. I'm just going to be able to tell you the area code. Okay, we're going to hear from our person in the 715 area code, and let's see if we got this working. Okay, 715 area code. Are you there?
Yo, Robbie C. Notes.
Okay, who's
up?
Who's this?
This is Weed Brain.
Weed Brain. Yes. Now hold on. Weed Brain.
What up,
Weed Brain. Did you go into the Big Brother camp and then find the manure and the bobcat urine?
Man, what is it called? Jenkum? I was jenkumed up. It was so good. My question: have you seen all the tattoos this season? Have you seen that Taylor Swift in the headdress tattoo on Nick? What is going on? He's got fringe. He's got a. Come on, tell me what's up, Robbie C. Notes.
Okay, good question. Okay. Also, chat. Let us know volume-wise if Weed Brain is too loud or not loud enough. Taran, have you noticed? Have you done any accounting of all the tattoos in the house?
I've certainly noticed a few of them. I know I've heard about the Taylor Swift thing. That's not my area of expertise, but I do feel like. I don't know. Hello, my name is what Jax is. It's basically the name tag, which has the red and the white, and it says hello, my name is, and then it's just kind of blank, I believe, on Jack's chest. I really hate that, but I also don't love Sam's like tribal whatever tattoo on his arm that he called badass.
But that's just like normal bad, right, Weed Brain?
Exactly. I think Weed Brain is.
Okay. Oh, Weed Brain already. He might have hung up. Okay. He had to go. All right.
He got distracted.
Okay. All right. Let's go to our next call, and then this is gonna be somebody that's gonna be in the 214 area code. Okay. Let's go ahead and give this a try. 214 area code. Are you there?
Hello, Rob. Hello, Taran.
Yes. Who's this?
Hey.
This is Kyle. I'm calling for a question about the live feeds earlier today.
Okay.
So Sam was talking to Jack and said to his face that Jack is looking like the Devin of this season, but like a good Devin. So,
Rick Devins.
Considering Grateful...
Go ahead, Kyle.
So considering Grateful and Bomb Squad are the same size and seemingly just as fragile, will Jack be more or less successful than Devin at putting the money in people's pockets?
Okay, that's a good point. I was thinking about this during the episode tonight. So we had our 6. Our what was were both alliances named the Bomb Squad, Taran, in Big Brother 16? Like, what was there the 5-person? Yeah.
There was the Bomb Squad.
Yes.
And then there were the Detonators.
That was just Cody and Derek, though, right? Or
no, Cody and Derek were the Hitmen.
Hitmen. I'm sorry. And so the Detonators was with 8. Well, that was
it was a group of 5 within the 8.
Ah, got it. Okay. And then Devin was like, they had more than 8, right? Didn't he? Was he like waking up in the middle of the night and inviting more people to the alliance?
Well, I think the Bomb Squad was something like 6, and then Devin, I think it was a similar situation, and Devin added 2 more, and then was that subsequently excluded from when they shortened the group up again.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess if we're gonna compare Jack and Devin, I feel like that Devin was a more fun presence to have in the house.
Yeah, I mean, Devin was a lot less mean to the other house guests, for one. Mm-hmm. But I did actually feel like that was a savvy connection there made by Sam, because I have seen some similarities in the sense that they are both big guys who were bringing extra other people into alliances and are probably going to be the first one gone from this big alliance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think of that, Kyle?
Yeah, makes sense to me. I'm just hoping that they can pull it off and, accomplish what Devin couldn't, because we all saw how that went. But
yeah. Bring back Devin. To it. All right, Kyle, thank you so much for the call, okay? Have a good night. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our next caller. I think this is from the 256 area code. Okay. 256, are you there?
Hey, it's JT from Alabama. Hey, Rob.
JT from Alabama.
Preach, as BB-18 Frank would say.
Yeah, cool. What's going on?
20 years of Big Brother, and I kind of feel like the social experiment has failed. Thank you for building the RHAP community to bring together opposing views in a civil way. We can't go more than 48 hours into live feeds before TMZ is getting crowdsourced stories about how bad this season is because of who the nominees are.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched the last few episodes of season 1, and I was struck by how positive the message was about tolerating people we disagree with and not labeling or getting outraged.
Yeah.
That's my comment. Here's my question, Rob. What can we do about it as people to make the social experiment that is Big Brother wholesome and positive again, and not every season has to deal with these initial, oh my gosh, someone's so racist because of, or, other labels that are just intolerant and not kind. You, Rob, are doing a wonderful work, Karen too, but the community that is around RHAP is the most civil and tolerant community. Thank you for that work. If you hear nothing else, you're doing a great thing for CBS and Big Brother. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, JT. I appreciate that. It's hard because I think that, we have, bad behavior at times on the live feeds, and people hear about it sometimes, secondhand, and it becomes like a telephone game, and then ultimately gets into the media, which only, amplifies the problem. And then you get articles like, hey, is Big Brother, a racist show? And that's, and then the headline is all people end up hearing. And so nobody is condoning, anything that's going on in the house, but that Taran, in its inception, though, this was supposed to be like we're gonna observe these people and see what happens more than we're gonna have these people so that these are the people that we are going to these are our leaders and our model citizens.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I've talked about before, where, especially going back when we did the blockumentaries, we'd watch these older seasons, and even just the way that they dressed the house guests up was different. They didn't have these big goofy costumes or anything like that. They treated the contestants with a lot more respect, I would probably say. They still definitely had this sort of, sexual sort of like exploitation aspect of it. But apart from that, they did sort of have more respect for the players and the house guests. And I do miss that aspect of it. And I do think that leads to better conversation around the house guests themselves. Certainly, I did a whole podcast about just the toxic nature of how people can be treated when they come out of the show and all of that sort of thing. But of course, sometimes you look back with rosy colored glasses and, don't remember the fact that when we did the blockumentary for season 2 and I was looking at the articles around the time, I was like, oh, people were pretty mad at this season too.
Yeah. But hopefully, and this isn't always the case, but like when we could talk about something like a Big Brother 2 situation, you had Kent and Bunky who certainly got off on the wrong foot. And Kent was very concerned that there was going to be a gay person in the house. And then they ended up becoming best friends in the house. So it is hopefully a journey. And hopefully it ends up being where there is any intolerance, where there is any sort of, bad behavior. It does end up being a learning experience more than, the opportunity to just, flog a person.
Well, we know as Big Brother fans that everyone loves a good flogging.
Yes, flogging and vlogging all summer long with Big Brother. All right, JT, thank you so much, okay?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Now, I should say not just Taran, but also Brent and others I disagree with on a lot of their views about who the cast members, which ones they prefer and all that. That's what's so great about your community is you have a diverse view and opinion that you tolerate, and you're kind and you're civil.
That's the goal. Thank you, JT. We don't always hit the mark, but that is.
Yeah, and let's not go too far by complimenting Brent.
Yeah, look. My ideal for this community is that where we can have, fun discourse about these shows that we all love. And I know everybody has, really strong feelings about things, but, that is the ideal and what I try to strive for. And Taran, you do a fantastic job of bringing that into everything that you do. So I want to, give you that compliment. And again, great work. Okay, let's go to the 719 area code. Okay, 719, are you there?
Hi, this is Callie.
Hi, Callie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
You're doing very good.
So my question is, because this power of hobbies is basically a waste now, is there a way that he can spin it to get more people on his side? Because in reality, it can only save one person.
Mm-hmm.
So how would be the best to go about with this power getting enough votes on his side?
Okay, Taran, is there anything that he could do with the power where Tony Vlachos in Survivor Cagayan was able to play fast and loose with the rules of advantages and some of the things that he found in the game and say that they had powers that they didn't have? But Big Brother is tougher to do that with because you're not allowed to lie about production. But could Ovi sort of be vague about, I have a power, I have something, but not reveal what it is? Because the actual power of what he has doesn't necessarily help him. But if it, as a Hail Mary, not a Frail Mary, could that, hey, I was in that competition, guys. And everybody's worried about who has the power. Well, it's me, and I can, use it for blah blah blah, make up a different power.
Yeah, I think it's tricky to be vague about it when you're already in a position where you're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
I think that they'll essentially just be like, well, tell us what it is, or we're just going to vote you out and find out. I think that, certainly Tyler was able to manage it partly because he was not the one on the block at the time. He was able to, and it was very last minute and it was very hectic and chaotic that he was like, oh, if you vote Sam out, something terrible will happen. And then somehow that worked. I just have a really hard time seeing Ovi pull something like that off, especially in the position that he's in. Even if he had the capability that Tyler did, being in his position, I feel like it's just impossible. I think the only way to go about it is to go to people that he has the best relationship with, maybe this fake alliance that he has, and call a meeting and say to them, hey guys, and just be honest and be like, hey guys, look, I didn't want to have to say anything. Obviously I would have used this for the benefit of the group, but I need to tell you now, I just want to come out with it that I do have a power. It's unfortunately useless to me right now, but it's something that I can use to really help out the group. If they do ask for more details, I think he should just tell them like, yeah, I can just cancel HOH's nominations basically. And I mean, that's really useful to have if you trust that Ovi will use it for you. And that's what he needs to sell. And if he's able to sell that, I do think he can sway some people, but it's the selling of it that matters. And that's why I feel like being open and honest about it is probably his best chance, because it's going to help him make his case.
Yeah. Sort of like, would you say like in Big Brother 15 when they sort of sussed out that Alyssa was going to get the MVP every week, and it's like, oh, well, I forget what the word they used to describe what they were.
Weaponize the twist.
Weaponize the twist. I wonder if that's a way out, but I don't know. It's not looking so hot. But I think his best chance is that Kat has a meltdown, Callie.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in. Okay. You have a great night. All right.
Thank you. You too.
All right. How you doing, Taran? You like this?
Yeah, it's fun. I love talking to people.
Yeah, it's great. Let's do a 931 area code. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring you on. You're on RHAP Sunday night, 931.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's any current update on how you think David is going to come back, and if there's going to be a buyback. Do you think there might be multiple buybacks this season?
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Eric.
Eric.
Tennessee.
Okay, Eric in Tennessee. Taran, do we have any news? Any rumors?
No rumors. I mean, it's really they've been pretty secretive about it. All they've said is it's never been done before, and I can only imagine.
It was previously on again too. They set it up.
It's hard to. They're often so repetitive with their twists that it's hard to imagine something new. So most people are just imagining right. Most people are just imagining something old. So people are just kind of assuming like, okay, it's like a 2-person buyback, or he just comes back in. He does a puzzle to get back in. I don't know. It's hard to imagine something outside of that because it's hard to imagine them being creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Eric, do you have an idea? Do you have any thoughts?
Not really. I just hope if it's a puzzle, let's make it more than 2 minutes long.
Well, hey, yeah, give him some extra time. Good question, Eric. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. Taran, do you have any thoughts on how Eric returning to the house could shake things up?
You mean David?
I'm sorry, David.
Oh yeah, Eric would be great the caller is gonna come back into the house. Is it gonna shake up the house? Probably not, unfortunately. He didn't really have an opportunity to make many connections in the house, and he probably, obviously he's a guy. He's not going to fit into a potential women's thing, which is forming most of the counter resistance alliance to the 8. So I'm not really sure. He's probably just going to come in and be a bit of an outcast, and he's going to have to survive a little while for things to shake up a bit and make connections and work his way back in. I don't think he's going to come in with a huge impact, but we don't really know even who he is or how he operates in the house, so it's hard to tell.
I think the best case scenario for Ovi might be some sort of the twist is then either Ovi or David gets to come back in, and then Ovi gets to return to the house. And then my question would be, is Ovi's power, does he get to keep it even if he got voted out?
Well, if this was Survivor,
yes,
the answer would be no. But this is Big Brother, and I think the answer would be yes,
so
to be honest.
I got to be honest. So especially, and look, far be it from any of us to ever infer that production might, be 51-49 in favor of a player. And if it came down to it, Ovi's been great TV. David, with all due respect to David, seems like a nice enough guy, but Ovi was the star of the show tonight. And so,
and there was no wording in the Power about like it's good for 6 weeks or until you're voted out. It's good for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be like, all right, and then, okay, so America, you get to vote. Do you want Ovi or David to come back into the house? Something like that.
We've seen that before.
Well, I don't know. Well, whatever the version of that where we haven't seen it before, could we end up seeing Ovi end up being, instead of 1 week and done, ends up returning to the house?
I will say it's a bit of a conundrum for me because normally I'd say David all the way. It was a night one eviction. That's not fair in my book. He deserves another shot in my opinion. But also I've felt so bad for Ovi throughout the entire week, the way he's been outcast, the way he's been bullied. I feel like he hasn't gotten much of a fair shake. So I'm kind of torn on who I want to come back. Okay. It's very frustrating.
All right, we'll see. But
I shouldn't want anyone to come back.
I know. All right, let's try the 908. Let's take 2 or 3 more calls. Okay, 908.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Grace.
Grace, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Great. Grace, what's going on?
Yeah, so my question is that literally every season a house guest confides in someone who they don't know that they actually cannot trust. Like this season, Kemi with Bella, or even I'm looking on the life now, I think Kemi also with Catherine. And I know it's tricky to prevent, but what would your guys' best advice be to at least lower the chances of confiding in the wrong person, since it happens literally every season?
Taran, how do you know if the person that you're confiding in is really one of your ops?
Well, I think the main thing you have to focus on, especially early in the game, is that when you're confiding in somebody, don't be negative toward other people when you're doing it.
Grace, we're getting a little bit of feedback on your line, so we're going to hang up and answer your question, okay? Thank you so much for the call.
Okay, thanks, Gab.
Okay.
Yes. So, I think the main thing is anytime you talk bad about somebody else, you're taking a risk in the game. And when it's early days and you don't really know people yet, you might be trash talking somebody that it will eventually be your best friend, first of all. And second of all, as we've seen, you might be trash talking to somebody that is going to betray your trust and expose it and make you a target because, hey, anybody but me.
Might be your, somebody's, aunt's ex or you don't know.
Exactly. So I think just being more conservative when you confide in people, when you're bonding with people, don't do it through mutual dislike for somebody else. Don't do it through insulting other people or targeting other people. Do it through, talking about, yourself and asking questions about the other person, just like bonding genuinely with that person. And then just slowly start into strategy talk. And again, make sure you have something solid with them before you really start to talk major strategy.
Yeah. I think where Ovi did do a bad job with this was that he heard about an 8, and at no point did he think, like, he pulled in a lot of different people, and just mathematically, I need War Dog to tell me what was the % chance that he wasn't going to be talking about the 8 to the 5 different people he was talking about the 8 with.
Yeah, well, think about it. There are 15 people in the house. He approached 5 people. Or sorry, no, I guess there were 4 other people that he approached. So there were 10 people that were not approached. 8 of them had to be in that 8-person alliance, or he had gotten something wrong.
So he didn't do a great job with that. Okay, let's see. Did we do the 913? Did we get this call yet? 913, are you there?
Bobby C, can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's this?
Awesome. This is Timmy T-Box. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right. Before I ask my question, I gotta agree with your earlier caller about Devin. money is definitely going to be put in the pockets this year. But I got a hypothetical to throw at you.
Sure.
So, if they open up the backyard tomorrow morning and find Ian Terry swinging on the hammock and talking to himself about House Alliance dynamics, would they immediately ostracize him like they did with Ovi, or would he cruise to a victory like he did in BB14?
Well, I would hardly say.
Before you answer
Yes.
this, consider that all Ian does is win, no matter what.
Okay. Thank you so much for the call.
Was that Ian Terry calling?
I hope so, but I don't think it was. I don't think he does those kinds of voices.
You don't know what he's been up to.
We don't know what he's been up to. I'd love to have Ian Terry back on. But I would hardly say that Ian Terry cruised to a victory either.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ian would be put in a similar spot, and I think he would be put. I do think that Ovi is in a very Ian position where he would be ostracized, but people were starting to come around on Ovi, and I feel like if not for this kind of freak sequence of events where he ends up getting backdoored, I feel like he would have survived this week. There weren't many people targeting him going into the next week. He would have had that power. I do feel like Ovi could have been in this for the long haul and would have had an opportunity to turn people around on him. We certainly know he's capable of that given his success in real life. So I feel like an Ian Terry or Ian Terry himself certainly could have done well in this house, barring especially if he had immunity.
Okay. All right. Let's go lightning round here. 613 area code. Are you there? 613, you there? Going once? Going twice? Okay, I hear myself. Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. Okay, let's go to the 231 area code. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Who's this?
Hello. I'm Josh.
Hey, Josh. What's going on?
I actually have 2 questions. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, real quick.
Okay, so my first question is for Taran. Taran, if someone were to not do the live feeds through CBS, but they were to watch Big Brother After Dark on Pop every night, would that be enough to do a morning update every day, or able to cover anything at the most?
I mean, certainly After Dark can be informative and very fun, but the morning updates cover the whole day.
Yeah,
you got everything.
Cover the whole day. Okay. What's question number 2?
Oh, I know, Rob. You said that this on this season that you might be making a cameo appearance on Taran's morning updates, and I want to know if you're going to be doing that.
Yeah, Taran and I were texting about this earlier today. I was thinking about doing it this week on Tuesday, but then I have News AF, so I didn't. That's the same time that I record News AF with Danny and Tyson, so I did not opt for that, and so I threw out next Wednesday the 10th for Taran if he has that one open.
Yes.
Okay.
I do have it open.
Okay, so next Wednesday, and then I'll watch the live feeds all day next Tuesday to be able to report. Not just Big Brother After Dark. I'm gonna watch the whole day. Okay.
Okay. Do you usually watch the live feeds on a regular basis?
So I am a big live feed guy in July. I love the kickoff to the live feed. So I'm usually pretty good on it the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then that's what separates the real people that are out there, the real live feeders, from the live feed casuals like me. Because once the house is kind of set, then that's when I tend to drop off around that point.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call. Okay, Josh.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You got it. Okay. All right, Taran. Let's do one more, and then we'll start to wrap things up. Okay. Let's go to the 918. Okay. 918. Are you there?
Hey, Rob.
916. Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask
a question for the LFC crew.
Okay. Not for me.
Which picks? Sorry, Rob.
Like Cliff. Okay, yeah.
Picks for which of your guys' draft picks do you guys seriously regret picking, if any?
Okay, Taran, if you could have one of your draft picks back, who would it be?
I turned the winning off.
Yeah.
My draft does not look very good. I've got Ovi, Kemi, Sis, and Christie, and I've got to say I don't regret the Ovi pick.
Yeah.
I support Ovi all the way. Kemi was saved. I'm hopeful for Kemi's future. Sis is my biggest disappointment so far. At least Christie's giving me entertainment. Sis, I mean, she's basically what I expected her to be, but I was hoping for like a little bit more Haley, and even Haley was like not quite what I wanted.
Give her a minute. Honestly, I feel like of those four, I feel like she has the best chance to win.
It's certainly possible, but look, Rob, I'm about who I want to be on my team, and right now, Sis is just not giving it to me.
Yeah.
She's a yes woman, and she's one of the most passive people in the house so far.
Okay, all right, but that's what you want to be right now, so I don't think you should be upset with that one.
Look, Rob, I just want more. Okay. I want more. Christie, she disappointed me on a game level.
Yeah,
she's giving me lots
been
of
exactly
stuff.
what I thought she was going to be. I thought I had her pegged pretty good. I know the question's not for me, but my draft went Tommy, Sam, Jackson, and Jessica. And I think I would throw back Jackson. I thought that Jackson was going to be low key. I thought he had a chance to come into the house and just be a little bit more like not as intense as he's gone on to be. But that being said, Taran, in like the first 2 days of the show, in the Winston and Brett, I was like, oh great, I've got the Winston, and then Jack is the Brett. But by comparison, I do feel like that Mickey is the Brett.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say that.
If one was Brett and one was Winston.
It is interesting, Rob, because this is 2 years in a row where last year my top two were Winston and Tyler, and you picked Tyler and I got Winston. This year my top two were Ovi and Tommy, and you picked Tommy and I got Ovi, and I feel like Tommy is playing the best in the house right now.
I felt like that all season long, from wire to wire last season. I really felt like I had Tyler's gonna win. I won the draft. I'm gonna win the draft this season, and it was really such. I get no credit for. I was a big Tyler guy all year for had him on my draft team. Okay, all right. Thanks so much for the call. Okay.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure watching you and my IP crew.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. All right. So Taran, we got to everybody that called in and waited on hold for the whole show. Okay. So there's a lot of people that are still on hold that when we put the number up the second time, but we got to everybody who waited around the whole show to talk to us. So I'm happy with that. Okay.
Yes. Very nice.
All right. Tommy was Purple Tommy tonight. I don't think we saw him talk about being in an alliance with Jack, and I think that was the only time we saw him in the diary
room. A little bit
room.
more than an alliance, Rob.
Yes. That everything was speaking to him about Jack. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up. Lots of great stuff going on. Rob Has a Podcast and the RHAP Ups Network. Are You the One? Season 8, Week 1. Adam Bongiovanni and Aman Adwin are together for the Are You the One RHAP Up. I was listening to it the other night. It is a very interesting season of Are You the One? And it's got a lot of media coverage this season of Are You the One, so you should check that out. Survivor South Africa, The Island of Secrets, Episode 7 recap. Mike and Shannon are back with the latest recap of Survivor South Africa for everybody following the international Survivor coverage. And then We've got our Monday morning update. Oh, look what Scott St. Pierre did. So look, there's Kemi and Jack, and then Taran is in one of the boxes there.
Spoilers for future Big Brother 21 episodes.
Is that the same Photoshop they did with David to make people think that he was in the group photo? Is it the same?
Yeah.
Is it the same thing they did? Okay, so good job there, Scott St. Pierre. The LFC Roundtable is going to be back. So it's going to be Taran and Brent and Melissa together for the first time for the LFC Roundtable in season 21. Stock Watch. Is there a poll up yet for the Stock Watch, Taran?
No, it'll be up tomorrow morning.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Follow Taran on Twitter for that. And then Angie Rockstar is going to join us to talk about everything going on Big Brother 21, Cliff's son's birthday, everything else that's going to be going on with Angie Rockstar on Tuesday night. I believe that's going to be a 9:15 p.m. Start Eastern time for us on Tuesday night, and then the same on a Wednesday night for our first live eviction of the summer, Taran, on Wednesday.
Very exciting.
Okay. Of course, all of this is made possible by the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast. I had our monthly patron cast call today with the patrons. I'll be back with a patron 5 for 5 with Nicole from Long Island, but not the one that's on Big Brother. We'll be getting to that tomorrow night. So lots of stuff going on. The beginning of the month, a great time to jump in for the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast. Head on over to robhasawebsite.com/patron for more information. All right, Taran, what a show tonight. We covered so much.
You covered lots of things with urine.
Yes. Whoa, easy. We just smelled urine. We didn't cover anything. By the way, Caitlin will be with us for the Thursday evictions this season when she's in town. So Caitlin is not currently in town. So the first eviction that we're going to have Caitlin with us is going to be on Thursday, July 11th. So the second live show eviction, Caitlin will be here in the studio, and so be on the lookout for that. So a ton of stuff going on here at the start of the season. We've also got a new Talking with T-Bird coming up, where we are going to be caught up with Gretchen Cordy, Taran.
Oh my!
Yeah. So myself,
I love all these gets.
T-Bird is working hard, and she is like, I have to like tell her to like. T-Bird, like she wants to like go and like she's like, this person's not answering my messages, so I heard where they work, and I'm gonna go send somebody. Like, no, don't stalk anybody. Don't stalk anybody. T-Bird, don't get T-Bird into like Big Brother standing. Also, should be like calling people.
And don't stalk anybody.
Offices, yeah, yeah. So T-Bird's working hard on all of that. And also, not to mention our amazing race coverage also from last week. Myself and Jessica Elise and Mike Bloom recapped the amazing race finale. We got to talk to all 4 of the final 4 teams. Also, those are all up on robhasawebsite.com and Rob and Nikki Benita podcast also. We watched National Treasure this week, so a ton of stuff going on. Taran, of course, has a lot of Big Brother going on, a lot of streaming on the twitch.tv /Taran Armstrong. Anything else, Taran?
Well, of course, if you are a viewer of American Ninja Warrior, we've got the American Ninja Warrior podcast going on. Even if you're not a viewer of the show, maybe you should check it out.
Yes. Okay. All right. Rob, did you tell Taran that Melissa told Puya that I told them I was sitting in a chair? I asked you a question. Does that mean anything to you? I'm just reading the chat. Getting distracted by the chat. It was like, that was a very specific question. All right. So looking forward to the live feed update tomorrow. Thank you guys so much to all the callers. Scott St. Pierre for putting this all together. Take care, everybody.